Things begin with Zelda hanging around the castle and waking up from a nightmare. She's concerned that evil will be approaching very soon, and she explains her concern to Impa. But Impa tells her, don't worry, as the hero of Hyrule will always arrive when we need him. Down below, a trainee named Link is practicing to one day be a mighty warrior in the Hyrulean army. Well, evil arrives, proving Zelda's nightmare was just a foreshadowing, and Link looks around and decides, it's time to save the day. He runs straight into the fights with the captains of the guard, asking him what is he doing. The amount of enemies attacking them is insane, but Link manages to push them back, and he runs around attempting to save Zelda and Impa. Link ends up stopping the mighty Dodongo, saving Zelda and proving his worth. Well, Zelda vanishes after Link saves her, but she doesn't look like she was kidnapped. She just kind of vanished. Impa hands Link the hero of Hyrule outfit and explains that in Hyrule there is a legend of a hero, clad in green, who will arrive when Hyrule is in great peril, and he will save the day. Impa and Link press forward to push back the armies of darkness while looking for Zelda, and they eventually run into Sheik, a mysterious fighter who wishes to join Impa and Link on their journey. They also run into Lana, a sorceress who leads the rebellion and explains what's going on. Long ago, there was a sorceress named Sia who was tasked to maintain the balance of the Triforce, and through her magics, she could see into all of the timelines and all of the ages. But as time went on, she managed to develop feelings for Link while watching him through her crystal ball. But you would think that with the power that she had, she could also see that Link was bound to another, Zelda. She grew insanely jealous, and a great darkness that was currently fragmented through time and space eventually confronted Sia to worm its darkness into her heart and feed on her jealousy. Eventually, it managed to get her to open up the Gate of Souls and allow all of the monsters from all of the ages to pour through for its own evil plan. Link, Impa, Sheik, and Lana eventually confront Sia, and they manage to push her all the way back to the Gate of Souls. But this was a part of Sia's plan, as she took the Triforce of Courage from Link, and she took the Triforce of Wisdom from Sheik. Wait, how did Sheik have Zelda's Triforce? Using the power of the Triforce, Sia managed to open the gates to the other eras and the other timelines, and she reached into the time of Ocarina of Time, and the time of Skyward Sword, and the time of Twilight Princess, and from there she managed to pull out the fragments of the Darkness's soul that had been separated into those eras long ago, and she pulled them into herself in hopes of awakening this darkness. But one piece of the Darkness's soul remained, and that was the piece that was locked away by the Master Sword long ago. Our heroes separated to go to each time and each dimension to close the Gate of Souls that were opened. First, Impa and Sheik went to the realm of Ocarina of Time and to Death Mountain, where they found Princess Ruto and the King of Gorons in a conflict. He was being controlled by the same darkness that was leaking into the worlds around them, and he was keeping the princess captive. Well, Impa and Sheik found out that the Temple of Water is where the Gate of Souls had been opened, so they agreed to go and seal it off. But they were confronted by an evil Zelda. They save Princess Ruto, and they defeat the evil Zelda and reveal her to actually be Wizro, a minion of Sia. But how could they possibly know that this evil Zelda wasn't the real Zelda? Well, Sheik is actually Zelda in disguise. Lana went to the Twilight Kingdom, and she was shocked at the world filled with shadows. She eventually runs into Agatha, and she saves Agatha, and then Agatha leads Lana to the gates using the goddess butterflies. But Midna shows up, angered by some witch that has invaded the Twilight Kingdom, and she captures the butterfly. Lana and Agatha work towards explaining what's going on to Midna, and once Midna understands, they all head off to the Palace of Twilight, where they meet up against Zant, the usurper king, who is standing in their way from sealing the Gate of Souls. They tear down Zant and they seal up the gate, but they run into Sia, and it turns out that Sia is the one who turned Midna into the imp that she is. So, furious at her, Midna smashes the mask of Sia, and we see that Lana and Sia look the same. Midna looks at Lana and shockingly says, "She looks like you!" And Lana sadly says, "We're one and the same, and I am her other half." Link steps through his portal and he enters the world of Skyloft, of the Skyward Sword. While fascinated by the floating city, Link saw it being overrun by monsters from the Gate of Souls, and he went off to save the day without another thought. Once he gets there though, a voice speaks to him and it tells him to come to the goddess statue and draw upon its help. Link rushes to the statue, and once he gets there, he runs into Fi, the spirit of the Master Sword. But she recognizes that this isn't her Link, her master. But he'll do, he's gonna need her help. Fi and Link hurry to the Gate of Souls, but it is there that Girahim is sprang into action to stop them. After pushing back Girahim's forces, Fi tells Link to raise the Skyward Sword and seal the Gate of Souls. All of our heroes with their new friends head back to the main world, and Zelda apologizes for hiding the fact that she was Zelda and not Sheik. Lana tells everyone that with the 3 gates closed, they now need to go to their next objective. But Midna would like some explanation. Why does Lana look like Sia? Lana sadly looks up and says, "That's because we aren't from the same tribe. We're the same person." Elsewhere, Sia lets loose the 3 fragments of the evil soul that she was keeping inside of her. And there stands Ganondorf! He exclaims that she has fulfilled her use and that her body is not strong enough to hold him at his full power. But he does want the pieces of Triforce from her, and he'll take those now. But Sia, now free of Ganon's dark power, sends the Triforce of Wisdom and the Triforce of Courage back to their owners, Zelda and Link. She then sends Ganondorf off to some other place in the realm and resolves to conquer Hyrule and get the hero's love for herself. Who needs the dark forces? Elsewhere, our heroes notice that their Triforces have been returned, and they resolve that something must have happened to the dark spirit inside of Sia. They decide that since the evil spirit still has one more fragment to get, they'll stop it before it can do that, and they decide to go to where the Master Sword is being kept and get Link the power of the hero. But as they get there, they discover that one of Sia's minions, Wizro, is waiting for Link, and the heroes have to defeat him to walk away with the sword. Well, Link easily defeats Wizro with the sword, and now with the sword in hand, it's time to seal this evil once and for all. But as the group of friends push forward to take Sia out of power, they notice that Link is getting much more overconfident with the Master Sword, and eventually, he's blindly going into battle. And it's that feeling that Sia pulls out of Link, that tiny bit of darkness that's pulling at him, making him overconfident, and she makes an army of Dark Links. And just then, Ganondorf arrives with his army in an attempt to get the Triforce of Power from Sia. Link and Lana fend off all the Dark Links until Lana's power of light allows Link to tap into the true power of the Master Sword, sealing all of the Dark Links away and keeping his heart away from Sia. But Ganondorf uses this to his advantage and tries to kidnap Zelda. But with no fear, Link jumps in and pushes Ganondorf away, and he declares that this means war. You don't use the Blade of Evil's Bane against Ganondorf. But regardless of the threat that Ganondorf poses, the Hyrulean army needed to get rid of Sia as soon as possible to save the realm, and they take the fight right to Sia with the help of the Great Fairy to push her back. Well, with the Great Fairy's power pushing against her, Sia sends the pieces of the Soul of Darkness out to push against the Great Fairy and keep the Great Fairy from winning. But without her extra power, Link can finally banish her with the Master Sword. Lana holds her other half, and Sia looks to her and says, "Good. She would never have gotten the hero's heart anyway." And once she fades away, Lana takes the Triforce of Power for herself, and the heroes all get together so that Lana can send them all back to their own respective dimensions. Link, Zelda, and Lana bring together the completed Triforce, and they wish for the entire land to be repaired and fixed. Then, Lana walks over to the Gate of Souls so that she can close it up and finally end this nightmare. Zelda goes back to the castle, and Link goes to the celebration held by the army just for him. But what about those 3 pieces of the Dark One's soul? Well, they go off to break the chains and set loose the 4th piece, since Link has the Master Sword which has been keeping the 4th piece safe, and they free the darkness finally. And once it forms up, it forms as Ganondorf, once again, ready to conquer Hyrule. The first thing that Ganondorf does is set Zant and Girahim free to join him, and they set off to conquer all of that in front of them, while our heroes are completely unaware. He pushes forward and he quickly dispatches Lana, taking back the Triforce of Power, which is rightfully his. He then uses that power and he launches a surprise attack against Link and Zelda, taking their Triforce pieces. But that's not the end. Ganondorf has officially conquered Hyrule, but he didn't defeat Link and Zelda. And they use Lana to summon back all of their friends from all of the other ages. With their combined force, they're able to launch a counterattack and push back his forces while they draw him out of the castle so that they can retake it. Then, they take the fight to Ganondorf and successfully defeat him while he's weakened. But he still has the full Triforce, and he uses it to gain ultimate power, changing him from Ganondorf to Ganon. But that's still not enough to defeat the hero of Hyrule, as he uses all of the tools that have been given to him, and he finally puts down Ganon. The Triforce then is returned to Link, Zelda, and Lana, and they set off to put the Master Sword back in its pedestal, while all of their friends are once again returned home, sealing the evil that is Ganon once again. And so ends the tale of Hyrule Warriors.